And I'm Tana Larson.
And this is Network Insider, where we'll be bringing you the newest trends, products, and exclusive interviews with industry experts.
Yep, and today we're going to be talking about the Igor UVC lighting solution, and we're going to give a brief explanation of what that product is and how it can help any business in any industry. So today we're going to have a special guest, and who's that going to be?
Today we're going to have Steve Fisher on the show doing an exclusive interview with us. He's one of my colleagues at Data Straight Networks and an expert in this area. So Steve, welcome to the call. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi everyone, Steve Fisher here with Data Straight Networks. I handle the local market here in Chicago as well as Wisconsin. We specialize in a few different realms within the technology space, mainly network infrastructure, data centers, power and cooling, as well as security and digital building. Specifically today, we're talking about the digital building space, an element that's come of that, and that is intelligent UVC lighting used for disinfecting.
Great. So why don't you give us a brief overview of what this Igor UVC lighting product does? Just keep it down to basics. Give us the brief overview.
So the Nexus disinfecting platform using UVC lighting is really a byproduct of the Nexus platform, which is really an IoT, our smart building platform that's used to control an entire building infrastructure from an IP network. We're taking that technology and the controls and intelligence and adding a proven disinfecting solution of UVC lighting to create a controlled solution to optimize the cleanliness within a space.
Awesome, that totally makes sense. So what would you say are some good applications for this solution?
Well, to take a step back in terms of where the product can be utilized, the product itself, as we take a look at disinfecting spaces now, this product isn't something where we view it as use this or nothing. It's use this or something else. We know that the environment we live in today, we need to disinfect our spaces more routinely and at a better level than we have before. This is just an alternative versus a traditional having a human come in and wipe a surface down, spray something down, or fog a room. This is a more accurate way to disinfect a space by using technology that we can also audit to prove that it has worked. So as far as applications, to answer your question, the applications are really limitless as far as where we can do that from a broad spectrum. It really comes down to the design of the system itself to fine tune it to work within the space or area or application that we're really looking to have it used for.
So Steve, how do people know when this device is running?
With the intelligence there, we can have this where we can add in access control, we can add in a LED display that we can actually identify that this space is being cleaned. We can go to the level of actually securing that door, adding motion sensors. So if someone does come in the space, the system will lock down itself. As far as the illuminance in terms of a color, UVC is actually not on a wavelength that can be seen by the human eye. So what we've actually done is we can add in actual color elements so that you see that light on so that you know that it's active. Purple's just been a common one, but we could use a number of different colors depending upon what the individual had requested.
So how long does it normally take to sanitize a space with this solution?
Well, another great question. It really comes down to math. So the premise behind how the platform works, it's intensity of the fixture itself and distance from the surface that we're trying to disinfect. So depending upon that, we can calculate how many fixtures we may need in a space, the intensity that they need to be. But the common fixture that we have right now, a 2x2 ceiling light, the idea there is something that's between 9 to 12 feet tall, can cover a diameter of 20 feet. And the idea there is we can get the healthcare grade 99.99% bacteria-free clean within about a 80-minute to 2-hour cycle. And then throughout the day, we could run a 15 to 20-minute maintenance cycle to get the 90% clean. So to answer that question a little bit more, goes back to what I mentioned before, is that the design that we come up with for these systems is fairly unique depending upon the application, but there are some rule of thumbs that we can work with just based upon intensity and distance. In addition to that, by adding the intelligence to it, I mean, you can tell which spaces have been used. So if a space hasn't been used, there's a chance that you may not need to clean it. Versus right now, if we're cleaning everything by hand, you're physically cleaning everything because you just don't know.
Yeah, that's a really great point, Steve. What are we going to be talking about next, Johnny?
So next, we're going to just jump to some questions from our viewers.
So our first question from Cable Guy 39 was, do these lights penetrate glass or other surfaces?
No, it doesn't. The UVC specific wavelength will not penetrate glass. There's actually specific materials that if we are going to put a housing on the fixture itself that you need to have so it can penetrate that, but no, it will not penetrate glass or other materials. Glass is a common one that people ask about because of glass in conference rooms or windows themselves, but the UVC ray cannot penetrate that.
Great. Our next question comes from Data Nerd 12, where he asks, what protocols are in place to make sure that this solution can run in a safe manner?
This goes back to the access control and intelligence of the platform itself. So number one, any room that we would look to have a disinfecting fixture in, we would highly recommend having a motion sensor or a people counter of some sort. This will allow us to know that if the system would be running and someone is counted or we notice motion within a space, the system would shut off itself. Take security to the next level. I mentioned that we could have LED displays outside of a room or a space, as well as access control. So we can identify that the system is running via digital signage, and we could actually physically lock a space or a door while the platform is running itself.
So it sounds like it really is a pretty intelligent product. So just to be clear, is it safe for people to be in the space while the devices are running?
Great question. It is still UV. It is not as harmful as UVA or UVB, as it is not cancer causing, but it can cause an irritant to the skin or the eyes. So, prolonged exposure to it could cause irritation. So it is definitely not something would be recommended to expose oneself to.
So it sounds like a hands-off solution that's a total no-brainer.
Yeah.
It truly creates an automated process. And as you start taking a look at economies of scale, the larger the facility or the more rooms within a facility, it just makes more sense to try to plan for a cleanliness process within a facility that has multiple rooms on an hourly or a daily schedule. It's just not feasible if we're taking a look at humans that have to do that, where if we can create something that's automated and runs on its own, you're right, it's a no-brainer.
Thank you so much for your time today, Steve. We really appreciate you coming on and sharing your insight with us.
If someone has questions or wants to find more information, how can they reach you?
The easiest way would be reaching out to us via our website, and that is www.datastraight.com. On there, you'll find all of our contacts and more useful information on the product set itself.
Awesome. Have a great rest of your day, Steve.
Sounds great. I really appreciate it.
And that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, you guys, and subscribe to our channel. All the information for our social medias and websites will be below this video. Again, I'm Tana.
And I'm Johnny.
And this is Network Insider.